Good morning, it's Daniel.
And Jenny.
And Talia.
And we are back at Disneyland for the next video in our series on rope drop strategies.
Today we are going to combine some of the lands that don't have as many rides and rope drop Frontierland, Adventureland, and New Orleans Square.
So there are 5 rides in total that we're going to be going on. Those are in no particular order: Jungle Cruise, Indiana Jones, Pirates of the Caribbean, Haunted Mansion, and Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. We got here pretty early today because we wanted to make sure we got here for rope drop. Let's share with you some tips about parking and what it's like parking at the parking structure this early in the morning. It's 6:52 and we just pulled up to the Mickey and Friends parking structure, and this is really good timing because the parking structure doesn't open until 7 a.m. So we'll have to wait a few minutes. We're probably the 10th, 12th car here in line, which is really good. And that'll make us one of the first cars that gets to park, and should be easy sailing down to the trams and into the park for rope drop.
If you are driving to Disneyland and you are planning to park in the main parking structure, keep in mind that this structure does not open until 1 hour before park opening. Since the park opens today at 8 a.m., the parking structure does not officially open until 7 a.m.
And when you get here this early, there's usually very little line for security, and getting onto the trams is usually a quick breeze. So it's now 7:16. We made it onto the tram. This is the second tram that's going to depart of the morning, so we still had really good timing with everything, and it's not crowded at all on this tram. It's not full. You can see behind us that it's pretty much empty, so good start to the morning, and we're making our way up to the park for rope drop. So we've scanned in. The turnstiles opened. Before we got here, we got to the entrance around 7:25, and the turnstiles were already open. They were letting guests into the park, so that was nice. They tend to open those between 7:20 and 7:30, it seems. And now all we got to do is make our way up Main Street to where we want to stand for rope drop. As a reminder, if you are a hotel guest, you get special early access 30 minutes before the park opens, and so you want to keep right, follow the signs, or ask a cast member, and there's a special entrance for you where you show your room key or credentials, kind of near Plaza Inn and Tomorrowland. Depending on where you are heading to first, there's different places you want to stand. So if you're trying to head towards Indiana Jones first, you want to stand by the entry over here to Adventureland. If you're trying to go to Rise of the Resistance, you want to stand in this group right by the entrance to Frontierland. This will take you to the middle of the 3 entrances to Galaxy's Edge, which is the best place to go to get into the line for Rise of the Resistance. If you're trying to go to Fantasyland, there's 3 places people like to stand. One is right here, as close to the partner statue as possible, so you can go through the castle. Another spot you can stand is here in the center, so you can walk past the partner statue. Or you can stand as close as possible to the partner's statue on this side of the main hub. If you're trying to go to Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, you'll also want to stand over here, and you will go up the parade route by the Matterhorn to Toontown. And lastly, if you're trying to head towards Tomorrowland or Space Mountain, you want to wait on this side as close to Tomorrowland as you can get. Since today our strategy is to rope drop Frontierland, Adventureland, and New Orleans Square, we're going to try and start with Indiana Jones. One caveat is that it does not always open on time because it is a ride that has a lot of technical issues. So we're crossing our fingers that that's going to be where we end up first. If not, we're going to take the long way to Big Thunder Mountain, and that'll be our first ride. But that's our plan. Once rope drop hits, we're going to head through Adventureland, past Jungle Cruise, and straight into the line for Indiana Jones.
One interesting thing to note is that this part of the park is not open for the early morning guests, for hotel guests, so there are literally no lines for any of these attractions yet.
Now we also want to add that depending on what your strategy is for the day, what we're doing may not make sense for you. So we're trying to show you different options and different things that we think work, but you certainly don't have to do it the way that we're doing it. So use our videos and modify them to meet your needs. So if you want to do other rides first, do those other rides first, but hopefully we're showing you a good idea of what the crowds look like first thing in the morning at rope drop, and hopefully you see that there is huge value in getting here early and taking advantage of the time right after rope drop to go on as many rides as possible. Here we go, they've just let us in, it's busy. So we are making our way into the Adventureland entrance, and we heard a cast member say that something isn't going to be open right away, but we don't know what it was that they said. So it was probably either Indiana Jones or Rise of the Resistance, but we'll see when we get there. Like I said, we are heading towards Indiana Jones, and then we'll make our way to Big Thunder if that's not open. It's a little bit slow going through that choke point there by the Tiki Room, but then it opens up and there are lots of people getting in line for Indiana Jones, and we'll be some of them. It's now 8:01, we are stopped and we are in a clump of a line here at Indiana Jones. It was moving a little slow, and I think that's mostly because they had to check the height of some of the younger guests as they entered the queue. And we are going through most of the switchbacks, but it's moving pretty quickly now that we've gotten down to the main part of the queue. And there shouldn't really be anybody with Lightning Lane returning this early, so the line should move pretty quickly, and it shouldn't take us too long to get on the ride. If you've never been on this ride, the queue is really cool, but also involves a lot of walking. This part where it says don't pull the rope, if you pull the rope, something cool happens.
I say, come off for that bell, chap. You got jolly good sport now.
If you know the hidden Easter egg that's up there, please let us know in the comments down below.
Already I am envious of the wonders that await you, if you avoid the eyes of Mara.
It's 8:15, and they just announced that the ride is having some technical difficulties, and they don't know how long it's going to be, but they did encourage us to wait in line and did not tell us we had to leave. So we'll see if we can still have an efficient strategy or if it's going to be one of those mornings. But we can't stress enough, have flexibility in your plans. Not everything is going to work out as ideally as you hope, so be willing to roll with the punches. It is now 8:27, so we've certainly lost some time here, but now we're moving, so yeah! We have boarded at 8:35.
Hello, oh my friend. The brakes may be needing a little adjustment, but easy on the curves.
The treasure of Mara, glittering gold. It is yours.
It's now about 8:45. We just made it off of Indiana Jones. Subtract 12 minutes for the time we spent waiting while it was broken down, and you can kind of factor in how long it actually took us to get on the ride. Right now it's listing a 40-minute wait, so we saved a lot of time off of that, and the line really doesn't get much shorter throughout the day. We're now going to make our way to Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. We think that's the next best choice. It said it has a 10-minute wait in the app, and hopefully it's that long or a little bit shorter. I also want to add that Indiana Jones involves a lot of walking. It's quite an extensive queue, and definitely you get your steps in on that one. It's now 8:47, and we are getting in line for Big Thunder Mountain. The wait time has gone up to 20 minutes, but I still think it'll be a little less than that. Here we go. I want to take a couple seconds to point out some stuff in the app. As you can see here, the wait times are still relatively low for most things. So you got 20 here for Big Thunder, 40 for Indiana Jones, but Jungle Cruise is 5, Pirates is 5, and if I scroll over here to Haunted Mansion, that's also listing 13, but that's code for 5 because they make it creepy like that. But also, Rise of the Resistance here has not yet opened for the day. So if you're planning on rope dropping Galaxy's Edge or Rise of the Resistance, know that it frequently doesn't open with the park, and you might struggle to maximize your day if you're trying to do that first. We just boarded at 8:58, so 11 minutes, not bad. It's now 9:02. All 3 of the rides we have left, so that's Jungle Cruise, Pirates of the Caribbean, and Haunted Mansion, still have basically no wait. So I think we're gonna head to Jungle Cruise next. We feel like that's the one that's most at risk for getting a longer line. So that seems like the next best choice. We'll see you over there. It's now 9:06. We're getting in line for the Jungle Cruise. It's now showing a 15-minute wait on the sign out here. You'll notice that we've hopped back and forth between the lands and the rides a little bit more today than we usually do. And that's because we're trying to find a balance between waiting as little as possible in line versus the time it takes to go between the different rides. And so we feel like maximizing this part of the park at Rope Drop involves going back and forth a little bit more than normal rather than just going to the thing right next to where you started. We just boarded at 9:16.
Wave goodbye to those amazing skippers on the dock.
Yeah, you'll never see them again.
Hi friends, take out your cameras for it's a moment you've all been waiting for. It's the incredible, the stupendous, eighth wonder of the world. It's the backside of water. I
I must say, out of all the jungle cruises I've cruised and all the expeditions I've expedited, you've all certainly been one of them.
We just got off the Jungle Cruise and now we are making our way to Pirates of the Caribbean. Here we go, getting in line for Pirates of the Caribbean. It lists a 10-minute wait and it is 9:29. So we've boarded at 9:38.
And mark well the words, matey. Dead men tell no tale.
Surrender, Captain Jack Sparrow, or my thunder will burn the city to the ground.
Yo ho, a pirate's life for me. A toast to piracy and its many shiny rewards. As a career, what could be more rewarding?
It's now 9:57 and we're getting in line for Haunted Mansion. It says it has a 15-minute wait.
Is this haunted room actually stretching? Or is it your imagination?
We boarded our Doom buggy at 10:12.
Bring ghosts come out to socialize.
Hurry back.
So we are all done with our rope drop strategy for today, and I think we did good.
Keep in mind that Indiana Jones can be a bit of a wild card. It is pretty common for that attraction to break down in the morning and even throughout the day.
As you saw, we had some issues with it that added probably about 15 minutes to our wait time, and that kind of made some of the other wait times probably a few minutes longer than they would have otherwise been as well. So right now it's actually 10:25, and we probably would have been done 15-20 minutes sooner if we hadn't had that little hiccup, but we still feel like we did really, really well. Let's show you what the wait times are right now. Sorry, Jenny, I'm covering up your face now. So you can see that for the rides that we went on, Jungle Cruise is listing a 15-minute wait, Indiana Jones is listing a 45-minute wait, Pirates of the Caribbean 25, Big Thunder 25, and Haunted Mansion 20. We waited way less than that for everything. So rope drop again is the way to go if you really want to maximize your day at Disneyland.
A lot of the attractions that we did today are longer attractions, so rides that take 10, 15, or even 20 minutes, just depending on how fast they're moving each day and how many people are riding on them. So that's another thing to keep in mind, that they aren't always the best rides to go on first thing in the morning because the lines will stay the same length throughout the day.
Everything except for Big Thunder Mountain is a longer time to go through than like the stuff in Fantasyland, where if there's no line you walk right onto it and you're off a minute and a half later. So Indiana Jones, well, that's not a super long ride. You do still have to walk for what feels like forever to get to the loading area and then back out of the loading area. Haunted Mansion's a little slow. You have the stretching room and that adds a little bit of time to the wait, though it does feel like your wait is shorter because at least that's kind of part of the experience. Jungle Cruise is just a longer attraction and Pirates is a longer attraction. So even though we only got through 5 things today in about the same time it took us to do 7 in Tomorrowland and 10 in Fantasyland, we still feel like this was a success and we were as efficient as we could have been.
If you have any questions about our rope drop strategies or anything you'd like to add, let us know in the comments below.
Please give us a big thumbs up.
Don't forget to subscribe for even more magical content from here at the Disneyland Resort.
And we hope we put you in a magical mood.